Hello, welcome to my first ever video. I am so nervous. It's so just weird, just like talking to a camera. I'm probably gonna say and like a million times, so I'm really sorry if I'm not like a perfectly composed YouTube pro. However, I have wanted to do this for a long time. I actually have filmed YouTube videos in the past and they are private now, so no one can see them. We're trying to explain this in like an easy to understand way. I went to Boots and Superdrug and I got some samples of like each brands, if they had them. A lot of like the brands didn't have samples, so I couldn't get every brand, but most of the main like high street brands, I've got a sample of their like their flagship foundation, and I'm gonna compare them against each other in like a knockout way. So kind of like boxing, I'm gonna put two up against each other. Whichever one wins will go to the next round, and I'm gonna do that for all of them. Obviously it's kind of subjective, but I thought it'd be fun. So this video is the first set of foundations. I just picked two random foundations that were a similar colour, so I didn't look crazy. Because obviously I had to just grab some samples. And high street foundations aren't known for the like vast, undertones and everything like that. So it was kind of difficult to match myself in the store. And also I was really embarrassed because I was like, am I okay to take a sample, please? But they were totally cool about it. So I've already got two on. And then we're going to see. We're not going to be biased. We're just going to see what happens. We're going to look at the pure hard facts. And I'm really excited and I'm really nervous. And I don't know how to edit. So I've got a lot to do, but it's going to be great. It's going to be great and I'm excited. So this is the first ever episode and I haven't even decided what we're going to name this series. I'm going to think of something really cool and it's going to be great. So, if you want to see me compare two foundations really awkwardly, then just keep watching. Is that what you meant to say? I feel like that's what you meant to say, so just keep watching. So I'm starting with my face completely bare. I've picked up two of my samples, which are similar in colour, so that I don't look crazy for the day, but I have no clue what brand it is or anything like that, and we're going to put them to the test up against each other. So I'm going to start with sample C on my right hand side of my face. I'm just going to pop some on. This is really hard to do. And we'll just see how it blends. I actually colour matched in Boots, so it might not be the greatest colour match. It smells really chemically. I'm not sure if this is going to be one of the cheaper ones or not. Feels quite matte. I'm going to start with a thin layer and then we'll see if we can actually build it up. So that's one coat. So yeah, it's a little bit too light for me, just the hair. You can still see my blemishes through, but we'll do a second coat and see if it builds and how much coverage I can actually get. A little bit more. So I'm going to blend them few dots in, see if we can amp up this coverage. It does seem to be like collecting in my hairline a little bit. I don't know if it really wants to like build upon itself. Have a look. It does look like you can really see it on the skin. It's definitely not natural when you build it, but it seems to be like giving me a fuller coverage. So I'm going to do G. That's what I've named it. So there's G on this side. Okay. This already feels like more liquidy. I'm so excited to find out what foundations they are. I really wanted to do it blind so that I couldn't be biased at all by the brand or by anything that I've heard about it already. So let's see what kind of coverage we get from these dots. It's definitely a lot lighter. Lighter in texture, not lighter in colour. You can really... Oh, this one doesn't really want to blend. Like, can you see how it's... like not really giving me an even coverage across my nose. So you can definitely see my skin texture through. You can see that the lines of the foundation brush, which you couldn't see in the other one, which could just be because the foundation's a little bit thinner. So obviously this side has had a couple of layers, but you can definitely still see my skin through it. So let's go in with the second layer and see if this one builds. So I've got 2 layers of each just to make it completely fair. I think you can definitely like see the foundation on my skin, but they're both looking pretty similar. I don't think you can tell the difference where they like look the exact same colour, which is great. But I need to go do my rest of my face and set it all and then just see what happens as the day continues. But so far, like, I don't think either one... Obviously, the second one was a little bit thinner, so it was harder to blend in, but now it's on, I feel like they look pretty similar. I've got more blemishes on this side of my face, so it doesn't really have, like, an even test. But I don't think I would ever want to wear more foundation than this, like, personally. This is probably a little bit more than what I'd usually go for. So I went and quickly did a full beat. I am noticing some small differences. The left side is definitely a lighter coverage. Even with the 2 layers, you can just tell a little bit, like, from the front of my face. Like, this side looks a lot more, like, flawless than this side does. But I think they both look cute. I like a lighter coverage anyway. I am noticing that this side is settling a little bit more into my smile line already. If you just look. To say that this has more on, you'd think that this would be settling, but it's not. I've done a little bit of powder underneath my eyes, but I've not put any powder anywhere else. So we'll see how it wears. I'm quite excited to just see the difference, and I can't wait to find out which is which, like what brand. But so far they've both been fine, yeah. I'm not seeing any major differences, but time will tell. So it's been 6 hours. I cannot leave it on any longer. I want to wash my face. I want to get into bed. But I have some thoughts, and I actually finally know which is which. So you'll already know because of the thumbnail, but I didn't know. So what I will say is I'm really shocked. I thought that the left-hand side was going to be a more hydrating foundation because it was thinner and I struggled to blend it and it got really streaky, which is quite normal for like a more hydrating foundation. And I actually thought the right side was the foundation that the left side actually is. So on the left, I've got the Fit Me matte Poreless, whatever the hell the long name is, and the Maybelline one. And on the right side, I've got 3, or I think it's Mina or 3 Ina, which is their 24-hour matte foundation. Now, weirdly enough, I've actually never tried the 3 Ina or the Mina foundation before. It was new in my superdrug as well, and I actually am really impressed. But anyway, before I get started, let's talk about the Maybelline one, which I thought was the right-hand side. And I actually rang my sister and she also thought that this one was the Fit Me. But it makes sense because the Fit Me Matte and Poreless is really, really liquidy. So it applied quite badly. It didn't build up as nice. And I've noticed that if I bring you in... Ooh, like, my makeup is coming off really patchy with this foundation. I lost it round here earlier on in the day, and I just feel like my blush and my bronzer's kind of going, and my skin doesn't look great. I've had like a bit of a snotty nose, so like I'm getting like, you know, pink round here, and I'm just losing it all around my mouth from eating, etc. So it didn't hold up great. So the Maybelline foundation is £7, and it does claim to control oils, which, I mean, I don't think it really does. I've not done much today. I've not been outside. I've not done any like physical work. I've just been sat editing and it's broken down a lot. Even just the way that my other products have gone patchy, yeah, it's really shocked me. So imagine if I'd have been on a night out or I would have been like, you know, in the sunshine, like I don't think this foundation would have held up at all. Not only because it's broken down, but the way that my powders have patched on top of it as well, which I don't think it really did when I applied it, but as I've been wearing it, it has been getting patchy. Now, it is a medium coverage, but with that, you don't really get much building upon it. Like, it didn't build very nice. I don't think my coverage got amazing. I wouldn't even say it was really a medium coverage. I think it starts off as a light coverage that looks really bad. And I know it's like a cult favourite, and I genuinely thought it was the other side of my face. When I tried it, I thought, I think that's the Fit Me because it applied quite matte. For me, you can clearly see that it's not worn great. So let's move on to the 3 Ina side. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. So my bronzer and blush is still sitting like perfectly on top. It looks really great, to be honest. Like I actually prefer it more now it's been on my face a little while. I do have a little bit of shine, but that's to be expected. I didn't really powder much and I didn't use any setting spray or primer. So I think it's held up really well. I think they're both an equal amount of shiny, except for my makeup just looks better on this side. It's still on. Like, I wouldn't mind being out and about with this much shine. I think it still looks really nice. I could just tap this away with a little bit of like tissue or blotting papers, and I would look perfect still. Again, still. So as you can see, like, if you compare around my nose, although it has come off a little bit, it's definitely a lot more foundation around this area. And you can see all my bronzer and blush is literally still there, and all the way around here it's all there. I've got no patchiness at all. It is obviously shiny, but all the rest of my makeup's still there, and I think it looks really nice. Like, I think my skin looks really nice. I do think that is, like, obviously I've got large pores here, which you can see in the light, but other than that, like, I don't feel like when the light's not on them you can see them. I don't actually mind it when a foundation gets shiny. Like, I'm used to it. I've always had an oilier skin type. It bothers me when the foundation starts to break down, split, or my makeup starts to come off, which this one hasn't. So I definitely do feel like this one's done a lot better. But the 3 in a foundation is £22. So it's like in MAC pricing territory. Like, I don't think the Studio Fix is much more. Not to say that Studio Fix is like my favourite foundation. I mean, I will have to test out all the higher end brand foundations and do something similar, but we're starting with with the high street because it's accessible. It's accessible to me, it's accessible to everybody else. However, side note, I'm tailing off. Let's stay on track. It claims to be a medium, but can be buildable. I would definitely agree with that. It does start a lot more on the, like, fuller side than medium. I think that the Fit Me is now at a medium, and I think that one started quite high coverage, to be honest. I don't know if you could mix it with something to make it a bit lighter, but it definitely went from higher to higher, in my opinion. It says it's a natural matte finish, which I agree with. I do think the finish is really nice. It is obviously thicker foundation. However, I do think it blended really nicely and really easily, and it looks really good still. Like, I'd be happy to carry on with my evening if I was going somewhere tonight. So I think it's an easy win for the 3-inner. Obviously, I did this blind, and they're not the same price point, but they are both in Superdrug. So if you are going and maybe they're on offer, or you want to try it out, like, I'm really impressed. Like, I feel like out of the other matte foundations, like matte full coverage foundations that I have tried in Superdrug, like Superstay, which, if I think about it compared to the Superstay, I would say that this is a lot nicer. The Superstay dries super fast. It's really hard to blend in, and it looks quite dry on the skin, whereas this one had a really nice finish and it didn't dry too fast. Like, in between me building that foundation up, I was like dilly-dallying because I was setting up the camera and moving my mirror, my first time, and it still blended really nicely on top. So I'm really impressed. Like, well done, 3-inner. Maybe I'll carry on trying it, and maybe it'll be added to my kit. Do you know what? That was so fun. Like, I can't wait to try more and put them up against each other. So basically, 3-inner is moving on to the next round. I'm going to compare it against some other, like, amazing foundations from Superdrug, and hopefully I find a new favourite. Like, that would be so amazing. But thank you for watching if you've got this far. Listening to me just ramble on, and yeah, until the next one.